dash between birth.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC News, NBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Audible, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, and about 28 other platforms. Why so many? Because I want the maximum splatter zone for more hope and happiness, because that's what this show is about. So I have topics and guests to that and repeat guests too. And today is no exception. I am so delighted to have back in my studio a man who I gave last time the Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award because of the wonderful work he's doing with the homeless youth. I'll give you a fuller bio in a minute, but I am so delighted. Welcome back to the studio, Jeffrey Sitcov. Hi, Jeffrey.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me back.
Absolutely. And every morning, since I got promoted to the morning show, I don't know if you know that, I went from once a week to now every weekday morning. So it's a great way to start the day. And I usually do it with a gratitude sandwich. So you know how I asked you at the end of the show last time, what were you grateful for, most grateful for? Now we do it at the beginning of the show. And it's a little practice called Breakfast with Dr. Marissa, taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So if you wouldn't mind playing with me, 4 gratitudes for each of us. We'll go back and forth, and it's just has to be specific and a one-liner. So what are you grateful for? I will start with one so you kind of get the idea, and we'll go back and forth. So I'm grateful for the beautiful sun that's shining everywhere around the world, especially in California this morning.
I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to help homeless kids for 21 years.
I am grateful that I got to be an honored guest last year at your fabulous shindig with Three Dog Night and the fundraiser there.
I'm honored to be with people like you that make a difference in the world.
I'm grateful that the planets didn't crash into each other last night when I was sleeping, so I get to live another beautiful day.
I'm grateful that I found my life partner and we got married last month.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me give you a little applause for that. That's the first thing he said. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. What's her name?
Gazelle.
Azelle?
Gazelle. Like an
Gazelle. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Peace and peace out to you, Gazelle, and welcome to the family. And the last gratitude for me is I'm grateful for my daughters. My younger one had a birthday, so they both came down from San Francisco to celebrate. And your last one?
I'm grateful that I and my wife and my dear friends are healthy, because without our health, we have nothing.
That's right. That's right. And then we go to the bottom of the button. Now, this is a little bit different than gratitudes. It's called appreciation. So again, for each, and this is, what do I appreciate about myself? Because one of the things that people don't realize sometimes is that when you don't appreciate yourself, it makes for you going and with your antenna out looking for who likes me, who approves of me. And that can lead you to an unhappy life because people are fickle and they change their minds. So one of the muscles that I want people to Exercise is, how do I love myself? Because from that place, they can do so much more in life, and they're not so concerned with likes, literally the number of likes. So I appreciate that I am resilient no matter what's going on. Hopefully you can't hear the little barking puppy next door through the microphone, that it's okay. And I have this discipline that says I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. So I appreciate my resilience. Jeffrey, what do you appreciate about yourself?
I appreciate that I'm a giver, not a taker.
I appreciate that I love to laugh. Favorite sound on the planet.
I appreciate that I love every minute of the day and don't take it for granted.
I appreciate that I'm funny, even though my husband didn't think I was.
I appreciate that I realize I have to take time off so I don't burn out, enjoy life so I can come back and help more homeless kids.
I appreciate that I put my life jacket on with a silver lining every day because it makes me feel better.
I appreciate that I take time every week to nourish my soul.
Beautiful. And there it is. Thank you, Jeffrey, for having breakfast with me this morning and taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. I hope you realize that if you do this for 30 consecutive days, it's a money back guarantee that you will have better days. If you sandwich gratitudes and appreciations, that's a primer for tonight before you go to bed. All right, now for the official introduction. There's quite a bit here because it's so amazing what you've been able to do. Founder and president of Doors of Change, Jeffrey Sitcov, has done an amazing job raising $4.7 million for homeless youth and securing support from members of the entertainment community, from music legends including Elton John, Billy Joel, the Rolling Stones, Bruce Springsteen, Carlos Santana, Tony Bennett, and most recently Three Dog Night, as well as comedians such as Billy Crystal, Steve Martin, and the late Robin Williams, to 7 of TV's most iconic moms, including Marion Ross, who came live to my studio, by the way, Jane Kaczmarek from Malcolm in the Middle, Karen Grassel from Little House on the Prairie, June Lockhart, Lassie, Lost in Space, Eileen Graff, Mr. Belvedere, Dee Wallace, who's also been on my show, E.T. and the New Lassie, Michael Learned, the Waltons, and most recently, Jeffrey's enlisted 2 of the most influential women in the industry as spokespersons, Loretta Swit, who's also been on my show from MASH, and a member of Hollywood's royal family, Lucy Arnaz from The Lucy Show. That's so awesome, Jeffrey. I wish there was some way that you could hand them over to me, but we'll talk about that later. Jeffrey Sitcov, there's messages here. I don't know. You know what? Let's see if we can play this now, because I think it's a good... let's see if we can do this quickly. Share screen. I think this is it. Share. Let's see. Video unavailable. Did you know that? That one link. I didn't check it before, but we'll figure it out later. But anyways, let's keep going. She says, Lucy Arnaz, I defy anyone to watch and listen to these voices and not be moved to help transform the lives of our homeless youth. So if you want to do more than just shake your head when you see the homeless on the street, I'm so glad you're here to hear this interview and how to support Jeffrey Sitcov and Doors of Change. Welcome back to the studio. Wow, that's a more impressive list than I remember reading last year. Or it was this year. It was just earlier this year, right? It was, I want to say June?
Yeah, June
May
30th
or June?
was the
Wow. That's awesome. That's so awesome. And so let's bring people up to date, and just give a brief description of what the program is, how it works, how much we were able to raise, at this last function and all of that?
So Doors of Change started in 2001. It's been 21 years to help homeless youth get off the streets. I went on outreach 21 years ago just to see how homeless youth are found, how they're handled, and what happens. And I was so moved by the experience that I said, I've got to help these kids full time. And literally, I devoted my life over the last 21 years to find these youth, build trust with them, because trust is everything. They don't trust anybody. And unless they trust you, they're not going to ask for help. And so once they trust us, and for 18 years, we built trust through music and art. We teach them music and art. They can actually earn instruments of their choice. And it really builds a lot of trust. And then they say, listen, you're not going to hurt me. Can you help me? And then they ask for so many things. We have 2 full-time case managers that actually get the resources these homeless youth need. And from that, we get them into safe housing. And we've been able to place now in 21 years, over 2,400 youth in safe housing, and about 23,000 youth we've actually helped get resources for to have a better life.
That is awesome. Unbelievable. Now let me go back 21 years ago. What were you doing? Did you know when you were in college or wherever you were that this is what your vocation would be? What were you doing before you went out on the streets?
Yeah, that's a great question. This is completely not what I thought was going to happen in my life. I happen to be a physical therapist. I practiced physical therapy for 18 years. I had a successful practice. I had 17 employees, had a big business. And all of a sudden, I got a spinal cord injury. And within a second, my life changed. I couldn't practice my profession that I was good at for 18 years. And so I did a lot of soul searching. And it took me a year to say, listen, I want to help kids. I don't understand what we're going to do with kids, but I want to help kids. And I literally interviewed 100 nonprofits in San Diego that empowered youth to make better choices for themselves. They were making the wrong choices. They were killing each other. You saw Columbine happen, the shooting at Santee happen. It just kept escalating the violence. And being a healer, I said to myself, these kids, the energy is getting worse and worse and worse. And so that was my beginning journey, is just interviewing to see what touched me. But when I went on the streets for the homeless kids, that actually instant after we were finished, that was it for me. I knew it.
Wow. That is, and I'm going to do it again because you deserve it. I'm going to give you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award the second time, because you capture the essence of what life is really about. I'm not saying that your vocation as a physical therapist, as a healer, was not noble or not meaningful or not something that you could have done for the rest of your life. But I love when people take life and things that look like negative, horrific, getting, someone's out to get me and they hurt me. And spinal cord injury is no small happening. How did it happen?
A patient threw me. It was an accident. And I went flying 20 feet in the air, and I'm blessed that I landed on my feet.
Wow. And you had every right to be angry and bitter, and maybe you were for the, a little bit of part of that process during the year. But I'm not comparing your spinal cord injury to COVID, but one of the things that when bad things happen, and you heard me say, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. It's always this or better. That's my BS, my belief system. And if I asked you, would you change anything about what happened in your life? You would say,
no, because this is so much more important than helping people get out of pain. We're saving kids' lives. We're giving them an opportunity to have a better life, because majority of these kids, by the way, when people, why are they homeless? They're homeless because their parents are such dysfunctional human beings. They are drug addicts, they're alcoholics, if they're mentally ill, and if they're LGBTQ, which 40% nationally are, they kick them out of the house because they're gay.
So I want to just one last time make this point, and then we'll move on to Doors of Change. If you've lost your job because of COVID, if you've lost your livelihood, if you've gotten hurt, if you've gotten ill and you're feeling sorry for yourself, feel sorry fully. And then I want you to remember this particular story of how someone took what happened to make a shift in what they wanted to do in life. And anybody can do that, to find more meaning in what we do, because the whole, BS belief system around we're here to make a lot of money and have a lot of toys to leave for squabbling relatives, which is how, that unspoken, what life's all about. That's bullshit hockey. And Jeffrey and Doors of Change, there's so many. Interviewing 100 nonprofits to see what they're doing with kids, that's brilliant. I think that's a wonderful way. And if we all did that, even if we're staying in whatever we're doing, it's such a way to bring so much richness into your life. So thank you, Jeffrey. So
I call it making lemonade out of lemons.
Yes. I call it making banana bread out of brownish, blackish, bruised bananas. All right. So let's go to this population. I know that at the beginning you were helping just all homeless, and then you decided you saw in particular this population. You call it, there's a special word for it,
called transitional age youth. And for the first 10 years, we were helping 12 to 17-year-olds, which is very important. They had shelter, they have a lot of support, a lot of finances, grants. But then you see the 17 to 25-year-olds, which is the transitional age youth. No one helps these kids. There is no funding for them, no housing for them. And I kept seeing these kids on the street. I'm thinking, no one's helping these kids. We've got to help these kids. And so it wasn't a sexy thing to do, but I really didn't give a damn. I wanted to help the kids that needed the most help. And that was the transitional age kids. And we've been doing it now for 11 years.
Wow. That's amazing. So these kids, and you've taken 2,200, I believe, off of the streets and placed them and gotten them into programs. You don't actually have a housing program, but you teach them skills through art and music.
Yeah.
Is that my understanding?
Well, actually, we did have housing for 4 years.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was so expensive, Dr. Marissa, because it would cost about $40,000 per kid, because you can only put in 6 kids in a house legally. And that was so expensive. We kept saying, how can we help more kids? And so what we do now, we have about 50 different partners in our community that work with homeless youth. And not many of them, but some of them have housing. It's a lot more efficient for us to give them those kids. This year already, we went from last year, which we had a record of 161 youth we put into housing, which is a lot. With COVID this year, we've already replaced over 283 youth, more than 100 more youth, and it's not even the end of the year yet. And so we could never have done that if we were in our own housing. So we took the money and said, what can we do to make the most difference and help the most kids? And that was what we came up with, and thank God it's been working.
That's so awesome. That deserves another. Can you tell I like affirming? That is so awesome. Now, these kids, so you just gave a little demographic and a little, the kinds of kids that are out there. So let's talk about the diversity part. So when kids they come out at LGBTQA plus, which I got schooled on by another guest earlier this year who explained the changes. And when they come out and they're kicked out of the house, that makes 40% of the homeless youth?
Nationally.
Wow.
What we see is over 50% of our youth are LGBTQ.
Okay. Wow. And then the other situations are parents who are drug addicts or alcoholic and can't hold down a job, they may or may not be homeless as well.
Correct. Many times they're in the house, but they're so physically and verbally abusive that these kids have to leave. It's safer for them to actually live on the streets, which is sick, but it's
That
safer
is.
to live on the streets than with their parents. One of the youth that I've worked with who's probably touched me more than anybody, her name is Justine. This is Justine.
Beautiful.
So Justine was homeless at 12 years old because her mother's boyfriend not only used to beat her up and drag her by her hair, but started taking her clothes off at 12 years old. And she said, I've got to leave. And she actually left, and she was on the streets for 4 years as a single girl. Very difficult. So these kids come from such horrific backgrounds. That's why once they're on the streets, they don't trust anybody because they don't know what to do and they can't trust anybody. So it's very difficult for them. They hang together in packs, and it just trust is the biggest reason why they're not off the streets.
So give me a real life example of what would happen. You met her on the streets. What's the conversation like, so that those of us who don't know what to do? I mean, there's a lot of us, I have to be honest, myself included. We see homeless people and it's like, you really don't want to look at them. You feel bad. You don't want to give them money because you think they're going to go get drugs and alcohol. You don't know where to direct them to. So for the people like myself who want to do something, but really are clueless as to, besides giving money and besides supporting you, what's an attitudinal or a person-to-person approach that I could take as the average normal person just watching it on the street?
Sure. I actually take a bag of water, bottles of water, and also apples. So I'd rather give them food and something to drink than money, because as you say, it could go to drugs, whatever, alcohol, etc. So I give them water and I give an apple. That's or if you have any like leftovers. When I leave a restaurant and I have leftovers, I'm going to bring it home to my house, and I see a homeless person, I give it to them. Okay. I'd rather have them eat if possible, so that's the first thing. Secondly, if you know that someone's in a certain place, you can find in your city that you're in, look up Google, who works with homeless youth. Homeless youth is a whole big different thing than veterans that are homeless, adults that are homeless, families that are homeless. The homeless youth you hardly ever hear about them. But there's 3.5 million homeless youth in America today. They're hidden. They look like normal youth, but you have to be trained to be able to say, they're probably homeless. We go up to them and say, we never say, are you homeless? We say, we work with homeless youth. If you know of anybody that's homeless that would like help, we'd love to help them. And they go, that's me. I'm homeless. We don't assume it. We think it, but we don't say that. And so, you can always call up an organization in your community, wherever you live, and there'll be places that work with homeless youth. And then they'll take them in like ours. And the first thing we do is they talk to the case managers, and the case managers, what do you need? Do you need IDs? Do you need food stamps? Do you need medical insurance? Do you need a place to live? All these different things that they need, and everybody's different. But that's why we have 2 full-time case managers, and all these different organizations will usually have a case manager that can start helping them and getting the resources that they need. And from there, get them into housing. Because again, they might not want to go into housing right now because they still don't trust you. But you give them food, get them food stamps, get them medical insurance, Medi-Cal, psychological services. A lot of these kids now, when I started this 21 years ago, no one talked about mental health. But now, this year, we went from last year, we referred 118 youth for mental health. This year already, 156 youth have been referred for mental health. And that's a big deal, because unless they get their mental health straightened out, they're not going to really succeed. And so we refer them to psychiatrists and psychologists. And
here.
Yes.
That's amazing, and I'm so glad that finally our society is recognizing the link between incarceration and mental health, homelessness and mental health, veterans and mental health. It's I'll tell you, it's I think one of the best things that's happened just in this last 8 years. That recognition that it isn't just because people do bad things because they're bad. People do bad things because they don't know any better, or they have some places that are broken, largely due to broken people raise broken people. Abusive people have been abused. And the more that we can highlight that, and thank you for that, it's so important. You can't just tell someone to get off drugs. You can't just tell someone to quit drinking. You can't tell someone to quit a gang, because the gang's the only place that they feel any kind of love and connection. So if you've got a hole in your soul, that's got to get fixed first. Otherwise, it's a revolving door. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So all these kids now, I know I heard some of them speak at the beautiful, we were at the Vista, California. What was that?
Moonlight Amphitheater in Vista.
It was Moonlight Amphitheater. It was so gorgeous, by the way. And I have played, just so you know, you don't know this. I took some little clips yesterday to promote the show. I took a little clip of Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog when I was walking down the stairs. It's already 1,200 views. I put the drummer in, also highlighted him, 27,000 views.
Wow.
On Instagram. People love Three Dog Night. So let's switch gears for a second and just talk about how the fork, Jeffrey, did you get these amazing musicians? We're not talking like small potatoes. Elton John, Rolling Stone. Like, how did you just go, hey, I'm doing this thing for homeless youth, and would you like to help? Yeah. I want to know your formula to get people like that.
Well, I'm a photographer. I love photography, and I used to stick my camera into concerts for many, many years and get good shots, award-winning shots, actually. And I befriended Kenny Loggins many years ago, and I spent the day with he and his wife, and a big promoter, Bill Silva, saw my photos, and he said, "Are these your photos?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Will you be the house photographer at San Diego State for me?" And I said, "Absolutely." So that was my in the industry. And, I started meeting a lot of people. But the really big person that really helped tremendously in my life and homeless kids was Billy Joel, because Billy Joel was the first person of all the people I contacted that remembered me through my photos, and he knew that I had integrity. And he said, "Yes, I'll sign a keyboard for you to help the homeless kids." And within 3 months, he actually toured with Elton John when they were together. And so Elton said, "I would like to be involved also." So Elton John, the first 3 months of Doors of Change, they both started signing keyboards. Now they've signed, between the two of them, 10 keyboards over the last 21 years. We've raised almost $200,000 with those keyboards. But more importantly, the awareness that it brings. By getting Billy Joel and Elton John involved, they kind of said, yeah, this is a good organization. You can trust them. Because as you know, Dr. Marissa, trust is very difficult in the industry that, musics and celebrities, they don't trust people because they get taken advantage of. But once they did, then B.B. King joined us, and then the Rolling Stones joined us, and, Carlos Santana, Etta James, all these people, thank God, because they knew that it was real. And every year I'd give them information. I'd give them the newspapers that had the articles on us. So they'd read it and they go, yeah, this is real. And they kept signing over and over and over, to the tune now that we've raised just shy of $900,000 in music memorabilia alone to get homeless kids off the streets. 100% goes to fund our programs, 100%. And we still have stuff on the website, doorsofchange.org. We just got a new Billy Joel keyboard. This is the 7th that he's given us. So, that's pretty significant.
I'm going to put the website on here under your name, www.doors of Change.org.
.org.
Yes, you need to go there for sure. And then in concert, we had 3 Dog Night last year. Are you at liberty to say what we're doing this coming year?
Well, I'm in the works of working on a much bigger concert. And so
that was pretty big, Jeffrey.
Yeah, we had 1,000 people. It was great. And we actually raised more money than we've ever raised in 21 years. So we want to raise more money so we can help more kids, because we've actually doubled our services. With COVID, we've doubled our services with COVID than we have ever before. So we need the money for case management, for program directors, for the people that actually work with the youth. And so we're going to have if this person says yes, we're going to be able to have 6,000 people at a concert. So we'll see.
Wow.
We'll see.
Wow. Yeah. Can I have the initials? No, I'm kidding.
I don't want to,
I know. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. I'll wiggle my fingers though. Yes. That usually works.
But the most important thing is, no matter what it is, whether it's 6,000 or 1,000, when people come to our events, they have a great time. They get educated by homeless youth that speak at the concert, and we raise some good money. People rather go to a concert than a gala. So the last several years now, we've been doing concerts, and we did Los Lobos 3 years before that, just before COVID started. And we actually sold that concert out also. So, we're working at it, but it takes a while to make sure that these people are free and line them up with when the venue is free. But This is an outdoor venue. This is a big venue.
Awesome. That is so great. I can't wait. I'm definitely a lifetime supporter of Doors of Change, because I am in that boat where I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to support. And thank you for the very good suggestions on how we all can, water and an apple, leftover food, great suggestions on what we can do. So we're going to go for a little break. And when we come back, I'd like you to talk about some of the real challenges that homeless youth have, even in recovery, even as they're healing, and how we can help with that. That's when we come back from break. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here with Jeffrey Sitcov, founder, president of Doors of Change, helping homeless youth on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Gong. My name is Dr. Marissa Pei. For the next 28 minutes, we will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Just follow the sound of my voice and move with me as I guide you through this ancient wisdom through New Thought practice. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, I can promise you that it will impact all health vortexes. Body, mind, spirit, soul. You will be in a place of balance and inner peace the way we were created. 谢谢. Be my partner, dance with me, just hold on, I will.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you will get an alert every 8 a.m. in weekday mornings to tune in to the show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kardashian or Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And you can also get my backstage interviews on my red carpet playlist with people like Crystal Gale and Halle Berry, John Travolta, The Temptations, and more. So that's all available to you on my YouTube channel. You also saw a little ad for this Saturday. Every last Saturday of the month, I teach my moving meditation, which promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. You can learn that. No experience is necessary. Come to the beach in Long Beach by the water's edge, and you will learn that practice. If you're not near Long Beach, you can go to drmarissa.life and get a download of that. In fact, I'll give one of those as the Asian Oprah giveaway today so that you can practice at home. And there's the DVD, but I'll be sending you a link for the download to the first person who goes to drmarissa.life and puts in the subject line inner peace. That is the key word for that giveaway. And I'm so delighted to have back with us today a very special guest. He came on earlier this year for a wonderful, fabulous fundraiser that was in Vista, California with 3 Dog Night. We had former Miss Universe or the current Miss Universe, and as well as just some beautiful stories from homeless youth who have gone to the program that Jeffrey has founded and is the president of Doors of Change. So please welcome back to the studio, Jeffrey Sitcov.
Mhm.
Oh, hold on one second. Where is that? All right. I found a little clip that I wanted to try to play, see if this will work now. Because let's see, is this the one? I believe this is the one. Let's see, share. Nope. Breaking the cycle of homelessness. See if that's going to play for me. Oh, no, it's not. We're going to get this. It's called technology sometimes is a little more advanced than I am. Here we go. There we go. And yay.
The thing that made me leave home when I was 12 that was so bad was my new stepfather. He started to abuse me physically, emotionally, mentally, would call me names, drag me by my hair, hit me, kick me. He was basically torturing me.
On the streets is quite difficult, near impossible to trust people really, because they were always looking out for themselves. I had to do the same, look out for myself.
The longest time period I didn't eat for was probably like 3 days.
I was chain smoking cigarettes for warmth. I figured the heat from the smoke, would keep me warm for the night.
I slept in a lot of crazy places. I would sleep on park benches in parks. I slept on the beach a lot. I eventually had a tent. Well, there was one night I slept in a dumpster on top of a piece of cardboard. Thankfully, it wasn't trash day.
I was able to sleep in front of anybody, no matter what. It was like, hey, if they kill me, they kill me. If they would try to rob me, they rob me. It's like, that's just what it was.
I would perform in the streets to get some money. I would just do tricks with a soccer ball.
The toughest thing about being homeless is the loss of hope and trying to hold on to that.
I first heard of Doors of Change through outreach. Jeff was walking around doing outreach.
We're going on outreach, which we've done now for 18 years, twice a week, trying to find homeless kids between the age primarily of 16 to 25. When we find them, we ask them if they'd like to come to a music and arts program. They get free music lessons, free art, free dinners, free food, free clothes, case management, whatever they would like. We've seen now over 7,300 visits now in 6 years.
The staff of Doors of Change are kind. They're always in a great mood. They're always asking to help anyway. It's really nice. It feels like a family.
Doors of Change has helped me because I was homeless at 17 because my biological dad got involved and he punched me in the face repeatedly. And now I'm about to graduate from college, computer engineering. Homeless, degree. Pretty clear line.
It's really important that people that are able to donate to Doors of Change can provide the financial support that we need to continue to provide opportunities for these kids, whether it be music instruments, referrals, life skills, anything that they need help with. They need a lot of support. And even if it's just $5, I mean, really anything can help these kids. And the bigger the donation, the more children are going to end up with opportunities like me that they can make something of themselves and make an impact in this world. And that's why it's so important that we have donors. They really make the whole organization run.
Thanks a lot, Jeffrey.
Yeah, that gets me every time I see it, Dr. Marissa. And the thing that excites me so much when I see this is that the kids on there now, 2 of them have graduated college. One has a double degree. He's a father, and he's working up in Northern California. And the other one is graduating law school next semester. And, we can help more kids like Matthew and Justine. There's a lot of kids out there that just need a little hand up. If you give them a little hand up, and love them, and treat them with dignity and respect, they will. They have no idea how successful they can be, but they're showing us by their examples. And so I'm very excited, to when you can meet them, like at the concert, people can hear them, and that this is real. And one of the things you asked me before the break is, one of the issues is maintaining a job. I always tell our kids, I always mention them, never quit your job before you have another job. And if some of them don't listen and they quit, and then they're on the streets again because they haven't found another job. So very, very important to maintain your job until you have another one. And, drugs can also, one of the kids that was doing phenomenal, after 5 years started taking meth again. And that was, so that's a big deal, is that there's nothing that you can do except for love to try and get them out of that. But they're going to do what they want to do. And thank God it's not too many, but there's some that have regressed into drugs again. And thank goodness it's not too many.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm so grateful that I met you, and that I know that you're doing this great stuff. And I'm just really blessing you for all of that.
Thank you.
I want to thank you so much for everything that you've done. And tears. I'm not apologizing for crying, because usually I like to make my guests cry, because that means that their hearts are open. And
Yeah.
I am, on the other hand, I say that tears are the disinfectant that keep our hearts soft.
Sure.
So I am really, really grateful for that. So I just had a thought too. This book has exercises in it, 8 Ways to Happiness, that deal with your own past and trauma. I'm going to donate. I think you said you had 200 now. I'll donate 200
Wow.
of those books to you. The download, they can print it out and do that stuff. How's that?
That's wonderful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If someone is touched by what they hear, Dr. Marissa, and they say, what can I do to make a difference? What can I do to help? I would offer you to consider this. We have an angel team. We actually trademarked the name Angel Team from the California Angels, gave us permission. And so we actually have a trademark on Angel Team. And for the number 11 means angels. So for $11 a month, you can get money, that's taken out of your account, $11 a month to us. You'll be on our Angel Team. And if we have 1,000 people donating $11 a month, that's a lot of money we can do to help more kids get off the streets. But it's only $132 a year per person. So it's not a lot of money, thank God, but it's enough that you can make a difference. So I would ask, you can do more than that, but $11 is the minimum. We ask to consider, go to doorsofchange.org. Thank God we have many people on the Angel Team right now, but we need more. And you'll get the choice of one of 3 photos that's actually signed by Etta James, Buddy Guy, and BB King that you can have to choose from that will get you. So, but the most important thing is that you are making a difference. You are helping these kids. 100% of this money goes to fund our programs so we can get, more kids off the streets.
That is so awesome. I just is so, it is so important what you're doing, and so important with those stats to help what you're doing. That's just amazing.
Thank you.
How can people support now? And are tickets up for the next event?
No, we're going to have it'll be in the summer, but they can go to our website again, doorsofchange.org. You can watch other videos of the kids speaking, doing interviews, whatever. And they're very powerful because they're real, they're real, the real deal of these kids speaking uninterrupted. We don't tell them what to say. They say what they're going to say, but it's very interesting to hear them speak. And we will let people know when our next concert's going to be and when they can get tickets. I'm just so appreciative, Dr. Marissa, of you allowing us to get the word out. Because I find the biggest thing I found in 21 years is that people have no idea the severity of the homeless youth issue. If you educate them about that, and they go, I had no idea there was 3.5 million kids, homeless in America. And then you tell them about how they're treated by their parents and why they're on the streets. They just don't go on the streets to go on the streets. They're on the streets because they have to be on the streets. And that's what the kids we work with.
That's awesome. So I'm scrolling through. These are all the great pictures of what happened there. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You go down further, you can see the memorabilia that's for sale. And we sold a lot of it during the concert, but we still have a couple really good pieces left that people can not only buy a memorabilia, but knowing that they're saving kids' lives.
That's awesome. There's Etta James. Oh, she looks so beautiful. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Diana Krall and Elvis Costello. That was sold. These are all sold. Goo Goo Dolls. I meant to upload a picture. I was holding a guitar. I think it's the 3 Dog Night guitar.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there's plenty to do here. This is great. There's the success stories that you can. This is the guy that made me cry. That's so beautiful. So doorsofchange.org is where you're going to go to support. Any last word that you would like to have with my listeners? And
yes. Number one, I appreciate you so much getting us on, but I also appreciate people listening to what's going on. And if you're touched and if you don't take action, it doesn't do a damn bit of good. You have to take action for it to be different. And so that's why I ask everybody, take action, whether it's $5 or $100 or $500, it doesn't matter. Whatever you can afford, be an Angel Team sponsor, that would be fantastic, because we see over these 21 years that if you give these kids a chance and you help them build their trust, and then they realize that we're not there to hurt them, that they will succeed in life. And it's a lot better for our economy. It's a lot better for our cities, for our country, and especially for these youth, because they're not wasted. They actually have a life with a meaning by getting off the streets.
Yeah. I would say my last word for anybody listening who shakes their head when they see homeless people is that, you know, we're all connected, and all of these kids are not there because they don't want to work, or they're too lazy and they don't want a job, or they're rebelling. They have good reason and bad reason and horrible reason for why they are out where they are. All of us do the best that we can, and sometimes we're just not able to do the best we can because of our circumstances. And it is the most rewarding thing. I think Ralph Waldo Emerson, definition of success, to know that one life has breathed easier because you have lived, that is success. And I know that I give you on this show constantly ways to do something instead of just shaking your head. And I hope that you've enjoyed as much as I have and been touched, and that your heart has been touched as much as mine has been, the show to help the homeless youth with Jerry Sitcov, founder and president of Doors of Change. Thank you so much for coming on again, Jeffrey. And congratulations on your new marriage. How did you meet her?
Met her on Match.
Oh, that's interesting. I guess it does work, huh?
It's a numbers game, but thank God I got lucky.
That's so wonderful. Well, I do wish you very best on that one as well. And you know what I do at the end of every show? I say it's all about balance. Remember this when I did this when I interviewed you. Yep. So do you remember it?
Oh,
peace in, peace in. Can you say peace in?
Peace in.
Peace out.
Peace out.
World peace.
World peace.
Through inner peace.
Through inner peace.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jerry Sitcov. Thank you all for joining me today on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. Stay tuned tomorrow. I have an interview about Medicare, as well as the highlights from my fabulous coverage, as well as sponsorship of the Chinese Spotlight film at the Newport Beach Film Festival. That's tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we have our Dream Interpreter again, which is an amazing every second. No, actually, I've got the wrong date. We have another fabulous guest. And then Thursday, it is Straight Talk with Sam Works and Dr. Marissa. All things relationship or singlehood. And then Friday, Fired Up with Cynthia Kahi. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her living room, knowing that you can do and help the homeless youth at doorsofchange.org. I hope you go and have the best day ever. Thanks again, Jeffrey.
Thank you so much.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into